Alright, we're back. Holy, I said I was gonna take a nap. This is gonna date the video so hard. I said I was gonna take a nap after I ended my stream. It was like 5. It's 1 in the morning now, so that wasn't really much of a nap, but I read somewhere that, there's no time to be sober. That has nothing to do with what I just said. I just thought it was funny. But we're going over the patch notes. Let's go. It's time. They were so hype, even though a lot of the things that people were asking for weren't like revealed. Namely, no new character, no new ascendancy, no tower changes, and no new weapon got added. Those were like the big moments, you know, that didn't happen. There was so much other stuff that was good that yeah, we're just gonna go through it in chronological order, and then we'll like briefly skim the patch notes. Patch notes are really boring. I'm not gonna sit here and like try to theory craft. Oh, this skill's gonna be good off of like lines in the patch notes. Like, I think it's a waste of time. And I don't want this video to be 50 billion hours long. But yeah, we'll quickly knock off. Like, I guess we can just look at this. Act 4 is coming. It's an entire act. It's done. There's like 24 bosses or something like that. And then instead of Cruel Act 2 and 3, or whatever, they don't have 5 and 6 done. So there's like 3 interludes, and you can do them in whatever order you like. And they're like short quest things. Isn't there a screenshot thing? Hold on. There we go. Okay. So all the classes got buffed. Major worry of mine also, just to get the negative stuff out of the way before we talk about how fire this is. I'm worried that your character is going to be too strong, because the game is already like relatively easy. You kind of just destroy everything in like 10 hours. Yeah, we could get an counter on this video as well, but everything got super buffed, it looks like. Or maybe there's just like a new avenue you can take to make a character usable. Not sure, but all the classes got buffed. 12 new skill gems. So if you guys remember in the video where I was like, what I'd like to see in 0.3, I mentioned the skills that were existing already on weapons that said coming soon. All of those got filled out as far as I know. I don't know about all, but it looked like we were missing around 12. And the tree got changed a bunch, so there's 150 new notables. Pretty nice. Again, Act 4, 3 interludes. Cruel is gone. It totals 24 new bosses, 16 new areas in Act 4, and 19 new areas in the interludes. So those, I guess, are going to translate into your maps, which is cool. The bosses will for sure. Abyssal League. It's the first official league, they said. The Abyss crafting system is like Veiled mods from PoE 1. So you put like a little currency on your item, and then you go to this spot in Act 2, and you can unveil the mod, and you can choose from 3 options. I'll show that when we get there. A ton of new support gems. The support gem system has changed. You can now use multiple copies of the same support gem on different skills, but you can't equip 2 of the same skill anymore. So that Merc Gemling Ascendancy node that allowed you to use the same support gem twice, now everyone can just use multiple as many times as they like. So you're pretty much going to be putting Rapid Assault, which is martial tempo, on everything now. And then there's these special support gems. They're Lineage support gems. Some of them are really rare. Some of them can only be found in certain content, and they were broken. Every single one we read looked just disgusting. Asynchronous trade. It's like similar, not to an auction house where you're like bidding for something or whatever, but you can just like buy somebody's items from their stash while they're offline now, which is pretty sick. So the trading is a lot more seamless. You have to take existing tabs and make them merchant tabs. That was kind of cringe, but they got to make their money somehow. And yeah, sprinting got added. Can't complain about that. There's a heavy stun associated with it though. We'll show the gameplay of that. 25 new endgame maps. Okay, I guess these areas didn't all translate into endgame. New endgame encounters. There's like a bunch of different unique maps. I think they were called anomalies. There's like a dust storm one and a whirlpool looking one. Those were cool. Currency items got changed. There's like greater augments now. and there's a couple new omens. So that's the TLDR. It looks sick. It looks really sick. I'm just gonna skip to specific parts. A couple really cool things were like, you don't get slowed anymore when you're attacking. I'm just gonna play these in the background. So when you're using crossbow skills or bow skills, it's as if you were using mobility support. They were moving pretty quick when they were reloading and stuff. But yeah, I want to show the sprinting. Johnny boy. Okay, this is their
which could be a pretty big bonus if you use a lot of different spells. So
where is it?
But not only that, we added an ice fragment.
Okay, so they're gonna show off the ranger first. When I was watching the ranger gameplay, I was like, okay, this is disgusting. But the characters they showed after that mogged it so hard.
Which could be a pretty big bonus if you use a lot of different spells. So that's pretty good for upgrades through the campaign. But we wanted to add a little more spice to the endgame for supports too. And that's where our new system, Lineage supports, comes in.
Hopefully this audio level's good.
You can think of these like unique items, but for supports.
Okay.
There are supports that are only available at endgame, but they're much more powerful. Like Wratha's Assault.
Okay, so this one, Wratha's Assault. Immediately the first thing I thought, I'm not going to get into every single one of these, but immediately the first thing I thought was this was like, the better your character is, the less likely you want to be relying on dodging to reload your crossbow, because you won't be able to reload the crossbow unless you dodge. So unless you're doing some crazy cast on dodge stuff, like, I don't know, this one was kind of iffy to me. I could also do this, theater mode, maybe that looks better. Who knows, somebody will complain. But yeah, like I'm imagining a Galvanic Shards character that's got like 100 div thrown into it. Like, you probably won't be using this, but maybe it's nice on a, I don't know, whatever.
It's an upgraded
this one's kind of iffy.
double barrel that reloads your skill as you dodge roll, as well as increasing the number of bolts it can hold. But it does mean that it's the only way you can reload the skill now.
Right, okay. We're gonna skip ahead now. Spells echo 2 times. This one's gross. Comes with an inherent cooldown. These are also gated at 65 character level, so it's not like you can get these super early and start using them. Spell echo twice is fucking disgusting. That's really nice. Skip ahead. Chance to load a bolt into all crossbow skills on dealing a killing blow with supported skill. I mean, you're gonna kill a lot of monsters, so this is basically just a 1 in 3 for every monster you kill. To load a bolt into all of your crossbow skills. So you might be able to just juice your map super hard, run around, and not have to reload the whole time. This one seems okay.
Common.
This one is disgusting. This is the best one I think we saw. Hits with supported skills treat enemy monster elemental resistance values as inverted. Yeah, you walk into a Zesh boss fight and you invert his Ellie reses. That means you don't need to go get pen anywhere, and you don't need to use exposure at all. Like, why curse him to lower it when you can just invert it? And this is so general too. This doesn't say spells, this doesn't say attacks, this says damaging hits, which is like damn near everything in the game. So this one is really broken. I imagine if you can purchase these off trade, they're going to be expensive, but we couldn't sell or buy support gems before. You could only get like the actual gem that you would cut, the uncut one. So I don't know if these are able to be traded. There isn't anything on here that says that it can't be, but this one's gross. But it would be cool if you, I don't want to say that. You'd be really happy if you dropped one of these if there was no way to get them off trade, but I imagine you'll be able to trade for these because they've got like a rarity associated with them.
Open up a lot of game.
But
so making the skill better for killing.
Alright, now they're getting into ice skills for Ranger. These were cool. I'll blast through these really quick. The 2 jump out ones are Snipe, now procs cold shard explosions, and
as well as
escape shot does some cold.
Now creates fragments of ice whenever it hits the ground. These fragments explode after a short time.
In all of these clips, everything got insta-frozen. This is a level 1 skill, insta-freezing.
And a new buff skill called Ice Tip Arrows that allows all your arrows to create ice fragments.
Okay, so this allows, like, for example, he's using poison skills and he's getting ice damage, cold damage, And it also had this line that they don't mention here: can consume a frenzy charge to bypass its cooldown. It's got a cooldown of 8 seconds. So if you're generating frenzy charges, maybe you can get some chain going here. And this also empowers the next 3 attacks, not the current one that you're using. So this one was pretty chill.
Gives clear to rangers wanting to use ice.
Freezing salvo, you got to stack up the missiles over time.
To shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a nuke-like ability.
So if you've got a bunch of fragments on the ground, this targets every single one. Pretty gross.
We've also modified Snipe to consume frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage.
Okay, look how much damage this is about to deal on the boss.
And something you might notice about
this is in Act 3.
The bonus is a lot higher against bosses. This is actually a change you'll see throughout the entire game. Since it's a lot harder to freeze a boss, you should get a bigger reward for it.
Okay, gross. 100% more damage against unique enemies. That is just disgusting. He just did like 25% of his health bar in one attack because he was frozen.
Another theme you'll see throughout the game is making movement feel better. Toxic Growth is a skill that was pretty cool, but a bit annoying to use with the jump that it had. Now Toxic Growth is a range skill, so you can
pretty
spam
cool.
it more easily.
Probably want to put something like Conk Effect on this to tighten the spread.
And we've also added a new poison skill while we were at it.
Okay, Toxic Domain. Any skill where you put something on the ground and it's reliant on the enemies to come to you to get a buff, unless you can cast it across the screen and take up half the screen with it and do it into every pack, it's kind of iffy. Reactionary skills, in my opinion, aren't usually that good. Obviously, if you can control for that vector by just putting it under a boss or something and that spawns in the same spot every time, it's different. But this gave me parry vibes where, like, I don't want to wait for something to walk into this to get the postules going to regen, like, life off of it. Like, I don't know, I thought this was kind of silly, but obviously, fundamentally, I don't think that they're good, but this could have the best build in the game as far as I know. There's no telling. We're just going to skip past that one. Electrocuting arrow is now like an actual projectile, so you shoot it out of your bow now.
Now just a regular arrow, making it easier to use. But it also means you can support it with projectile supports. And it now also has area of effect, making it a tool for more than just single target.
There you go.
Allowing it to scale into the endgame.
So their intention is for you to use that. Mirage Archer, we went over this a lot. I'll just show like a little bit of the gameplay before I talk about it.
We also added a new spirit reservation.
Okay, so you spawn this little fucker when you do a roll, right? And or when you do a dodge, sorry, let me be proper. And you socket a skill into him like you would any other meta skill, right? And he'll use that skill with 30% less of your damage. And I don't know, we looked at this and it's like cool, but it's 60 spirit. Like, you're a green character, right? You're a dex character. Obviously anybody can use this, but 60 spirit was kind of iffy. And then I was like, oh, well, it can use the spear, bow, and the crossbow. So maybe you can get some cool stuff going. But because you can only use one skill, anything that's combo related, which makes a lot of these good. Like lightning arrow is good if you've got lightning rods everywhere. So maybe if you got him to do your lightning rods for you, it'd be good. But what is this targeting? He doesn't get to choose. He probably just shoots the thing soonest to him, nearest to him. And then I was like, alright, well, if he's using spear skills, then it's not like he's going to be able to put up, 50 twisters on the screen because he doesn't have whirling slash because he's only got one skill. And unless you can like chain that so that there's 2 skills, I didn't imagine that this was good for 60 spirit. Like, galvanic shards would be cool. You just throw galvanic shards in there. But that means that you have to be using a crossbow. Maybe it has nothing to do with what your character has to use. I don't know. This is really cool on paper, but I just don't know how good this would be. Like, he can't equip a crossbow, so if he's dealing 30% less damage, I'm assuming that's coming from you, so that would mean that you would have to have a crossbow for it to scale his damage. And that would mean that you're having him use galvanic shards when you can just do that. So, I don't know, maybe people will use this to debuff things or something, but 60 spirit is a lot of spirit. Also, I don't know how quality affects this, but cool concept.
Mirage Archer. This is a meta skill that allows you to create shadowy.
This dude also stood still the whole time.
Use a skill of your choice.
So, when it says clones of yourself, I'm assuming it's going to go off of your weapon, right? And maybe all of your gear. Not sure. It doesn't take damage or anything, but maybe it goes off your rings, gloves, weapons, something like that. And it's like, I don't know. 60 spirit's a lot of spirit.
Of course, one
You
of
can
the
get
other
2
big
heralds
problems
for
the Ranger
that.
had was survivability. Evasion was the weakest of the 3 defenses, and we wanted to change that. Currently, evasion doesn't evade all types of hits in the game, so you're still vulnerable to things like slams or unblockable attacks.
So unless you have acrobatics, obviously you get hit with AoEs. Can't
To
evade
make
that.
evasion characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect.
So their intent with this deflecting, by the way, before we get into it, their intent with deflect is to make it so that you can be a pure evasion base and you don't have to go hybrid. But as we're gonna find out later, I can just TLDR it now. Like, there's no reason not to still go hybrid because that part of the tree wasn't changed with crit. I didn't see any nerf to crit, and I feel like crit's just gonna be nasty again. And if you want to go get those good crit nodes on the monk tree, the ones that start from the center of the monk tree, you're gonna go north anyways from the ranger start or the huntress start, and you're gonna snag those anyways. But the way that deflect works is it's a stat that you get on your armor, like your chest, helmet, gloves, boots, and it takes a percentage of your evasion rating and turns it into deflection rating, and then the deflection rating prevents 40% of the damage taken from hits. And I'm assuming there's a way to scale this because they tell you that it's 40%. So maybe you can get this to 45 and then you can get your chance to deflect up. But I'll just show you what the mod looks like on the items. So it's a suffix. That means it's competitive with resistances. So I don't know. Could be good. You might only need so much. And then they later say that you can get a 100% chance of this. So you're always deflecting. So you always prevent 40% of the damage from hits or ailments. Yeah. And no, this does not deal damage, even though deflect would imply that, maybe.
Like evasion, there's no maximum chance. You can reach 100% deflect against all hits if you spec into it enough.
So, hardcore, this is going to be a hardcore thing. I assume it's going to be really difficult to get 100% deflect and just negate, 40% of everything in the game.
Of course, this is a buff that helps all dex characters, so the mercenary and the monk, but especially the huntress, are seeing big defense boosts from this as well.
This is in response to the problem that everybody had, like, horrible defenses last league because they were using Lightning Spear, and it didn't really matter, but...
Speaking of defensive mechanics, let's talk about block and parry. Now, one of the big concerns on the release of the huntress was parry feeling unreliable.
Okay, we're just gonna skip past this because no one cares. Block is better and parry is better, but nobody uses it, so we're just gonna go right past that. If you play warrior, this next part's for you though.
You now also move faster than before while using these abilities. This is a massive buff to passive block as well, so to counter that we did have to lower the max passive block a bit.
Okay, so the max passive block was lowered from 75 to 50, so keep that in mind.
Overall, you should feel much safer.
But you're quick as hell when you use these now, so.
Fire skills on the warrior were not really cutting the mustard, so we decided we needed to upgrade a bunch of them, but also add some more as well. Let's start with a buff. Volcanic Fissure now branches into multiple fissures, giving it much more clearing potential.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip past these two because I don't want to spend like a ton of time going over the skills. You guys are gonna play with these the first thing you do when you get the game. And people will already be theory crafting builds and whatnot. Volcanic Fissure, there's endgame footage of it. It looks insane. There's basically this hammer that you throw, and you can proc off of it. It's kind of like a Thor hammer kind of thing. You use a war cry near it, it pops it, it does this spin of damage. This was used a lot in the reveal. It looked pretty good. You can proc it multiple times. Perfect Strike has a larger AoE.
And changed Molten Blast to not always force you to move forward.
And Molten Blast, you can move in different directions. Cool. Ancestral Cry was sick. Anybody can use this too. It has a bunch of tags: attack buff, AoE, melee, slime, projectile, trigger, fire, duration, nova, conditional. Pretty sick. Consumes all of your endurance charges. Converts 100% of dam to 100% of fizz dam to fire with boosted attacks. Lasts for 8 seconds. You can get a lot done in 8 seconds, and you can get a lot of charges in 8 seconds too to re-up it. But yeah,
called Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Cry
you just get super
by
buffed.
igniting monsters, invoking King Calm's favor. After you do, use it to channel Kalim's
Like,
ancestral
that looks
power.
insane.
Every attack will be ancestrally boosted with fire. Your very steps will explode, triggering volcanic fissures, and molten balls will erupt from your attacks.
Get endurance charges.
Warrior
Shield charge does more damage at the end of the charge. That changes whatever. Shield wall has better AoE explosion.
shield skills. And Magma Barrier now doesn't require timing in order to use. Just wait for your shield to charge up and block.
Okay, cool. Sunder is a good debuff now. Ancestral War Totem got
It's
changed.
undergone some pretty significant changes too. We
I'll let
wanted
these
the
play
skill to
out.
feel more like using an ultimate. That summoning an ancestor to fight for you was a big deal. So we've changed this totem to require 3 endurance charges to summon, and massively buffed its damage.
Somebody in my chat said that there's no cap on how many totems you can summon. Warbringer gets a +1 though, so that was like kind of contradictory to that. They buffed Warbringer Ascendancy so that you can have like 4. I don't know what the max amount of totems is, 4 or 5. Haven't played that build. This guy's got 4 on screen right now.
In order to
5.
make it easier,
These supports were in here. This one on the right is disgusting. A 1 in 3 to gain an endurance charge when heavily stunning a non-unique enemy. Gain 3 endurance charges on heavily stunning a unique enemy. This means that this is good in maps and this is good in a single target environment because you can self-generate endurance charges on bosses, which is gross. Yeah, really cool. Enduring Impact. If you didn't notice, I think we might have skipped past it. The supports, some of them now have tiers 1, 2, and 3, or tiers 1 and 2. You get them at different times, but
we added some new sources of
this one is just objectively better than Enduring Impact 1.
endurance charges. Grade the Warbringer.
This is the Warbringer thing, +1 max number of summoned totems, so that means there is a max.
That would make
That's what I got from that.
Always intended to be something that armor to defend.
Warrior looks really sick, but wait until you see this
The Maiden
sword.
030 is to declunk the action and flow of shooting crossbows.
I'll check this out
You
too.
can now reload crossbows without any movement penalty. But not only that, all skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time. This change benefits everyone, not just crossbow skills.
So this for bows is insane, like, as well. This is ridiculous.
With both of these changes put together, the run and gun playstyle feels much better.
And spells.
It's hard to explain how important this change is for the feel of the class.
Oh, I'm just going to mention this now because I will forget. Staves, like staffs, whatever. Staffs, not quarterstaves, whatever. I don't know why I mentioned that. You guys know what I'm talking about. All of their mods got a 50% increase, so they're like incredibly competitive now with wand and focus. Like the crit. It was not all of the mods. It was the crit ones, the extra damage ones got a 50% increase to their values. So you're not going to be able to get like +10 to all spell skills on it or anything. Those didn't get an increase, but the crit ones did. So keep in mind that that's
the
a
Mercenary
thing.
is also a good chance to talk
I would
about
have
how
forgotten that,
rebalancing
so I
and
know it's
comboing skills much
kind of
better.
weird to mention it now. But
Take Shock for example.
okay, Shock. We're just going to blast past this. The duration of Shock got doubled, but the duration of Shock on you did not. The duration of Freeze got doubled, but the duration of Freeze on you did not. So Shock and Freeze both got buffed. Ignite now uses a different system. It uses something called Flammability. Your initial hit doesn't immediately proc Ignite like it used to. Now there's like a middleman between it, but it looked like it was pretty much the same thing. And you can scale the Flammability magnitude.
You'll find changes like this all around.
Just gonna
But making
skip.
skills combos too. This causes monsters to take a portion of high velocity rounds damage with every subsequent hit.
So this is like an alternate armor break thing that makes them take damage per pellet, which is cool. Listen to how he says mortar here. This is how you know this country's never been in a war.
So that means
Listen
following
to,
with a shotgun
listen to
blast
how
is
the
way more
Kiwi
effective.
says mortar in this next clip. This was funny.
Now there's a lot more buffs to crossbow skills, but for now I'm just going to talk about the new one we added, the Mortar Cannon.
The fucking mortar. Yeah, this lets you put like
This one
what's it called? Grenade skills. So it's like the ballista but with grenade
lets
skills.
you socket any grenade skill, and using it will summon a cannon which loads and then fires the grenade you choose.
Bonk. Pretty cool. Whatever. It's hard to make that look cool. Banners got changed. They don't use the Valor mechanic anymore.
Which one?
Witch got a change. The only like really insane witch change is, or there's two actually, or not. It's not specific to witch. Sorry, summoner change. Minions now have 100% chance to hit. They don't use the accuracy stat, So your melee minions will never miss again, so you don't need to get any accuracy on character, because you would need to get accuracy on character so that it would translate to your minions so that your minions wouldn't miss. Now you don't need to do that. Your casters didn't have to worry about that, obviously, because they don't use accuracy. But Unearth now revives your skeletons, which is gross, so we're just going to skip to that.
Skill, where they do to an ability that crack and
The Frost Mages, the ones that everybody uses, give like a buff to everything now, like a Frost Armor buff.
and they also got a new jump ability, allowing them to get into combat faster.
Oh, let me go back. I think I skipped
Ice
it.
armor also makes
Listen
the
to
minion
this.
counters frozen, so the Brute's Warcry can detonate them too. Unearth was changed to work on corpses of your dead skeletons, allowing you to summon the minions more easily in boss fights.
This is broken. Like, this is so good. This is so good. To be able to bring them all back, so good.
To be honest, we were a little afraid of these when we first balanced them.
Spectres now cost less spirit, or whatever those are called.
There's also a lot of
There's a new base. So this is a staff. Obviously, this is going to have multiple tiers. In the patch notes, they say that there were 50 new bases added right here. This is kind of deceptive because they have to add the tier, the lowest tier base, the mid tier bases that you'd have in like Act 2, and then the base above that in Act 3, and then you guys know what I'm trying to say? So this 50 is really deceptive. Like 10 of these are going to be this exact staff, so keep that in mind that there aren't just they didn't just convolute the loot table a ton. Like, obviously you're going to want the item level 84 of this or whatever, or 82 of this.
for being able to access the power.
They changed Blood Mage so that you don't have to spend points to get this first node, it just has it by default. That's cool. Blood Mage apparently got nerfed really hard. That you can't just like super crit with it. There's like, they changed like one of the most important crit nodes into something to do with your life flask, so that was kind of mid. Demon form now uses your weapon stats, which is disgusting.
The demon form wasn't something people were really using because you lost your weapon stats while transformed. Well, you no longer do, so it's a much better option now.
So that's just broken. Like, that means that you can have a wand and focus on your demon form, and that means that you can get like plus however many levels to fire skills or something. That's disgusting.
On the monk, the wind
That's like a fucking, for some skills that's like an 80% increased damage
skills need a
value.
big upgrade for sure. Staggering
or
palm can now
or
stack
more. That's just from item
up
levels.
its duration if you use the
They buffed all the monk wind skills. These were cool. Now they do
skill multiple
daze and
times in a
stun
row.
more often, which is whatever.
The enemy previously did a bunch of stun.
And if you proc the daze debuff or whatever, they take a ton of damage if you
Now it
capitalize
allows you
right
to
away.
break your enemy's stance.
So you stance
When the
break.
stance is broken, following up with a fast attack will do way more damage.
I like how they showed that stance break and they were like way more damage, and it wasn't way more damage, but it's besides the point.
A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in PoE 1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable.
Okay, everybody thought this was going to be an ascendancy. This is a keystone, so you pretty much just turn into fucking Tommy Hearns, Mike Tyson in his prime, and you just beat Alex Pereira, Ilya Tapuria. You're running around beating the dog shit out of everything, and it says can attack as though using a quarterstaff while both of your hand slots are empty. Unarmed attacks that would use your quarterstaff's damage gain physical damage based on their skill level, 1% more attack speed per 25 item evasion rating on equipped armor items, and 0.1% to critical hit chance per 10 energy shield on equipped armor items. Gross. This is gross. When we saw this live, we were like, oh, every single person that saw this forgot about Ranger. Like, they forgot about all those cold skills.
The monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the hollow palm technique.
Watch him just beat the dog shit out of everything.
Quarterstaff skills while unarmed. All quarterstaff attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield and
So you
evasion
can
on your
just
attack.
use Ice Strike on this. Like, this is insane. You're Avatar, the last fucking airbender.
A new keystone we also added to the monk section.
Mana Leech recovers based on LE damage instead of Fizz, so this is whatever. Like, you know me, when I talk about Leech, I don't talk about it very highly. There are better ways to problem solve for this.
Under the tree is Walker of the
But yeah,
Wild.
this is cool.
This changes
If you're
mana
into
leech
that.
to work with elemental damage instead of physical,
Ming, 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 ming,
which is
ming,
pretty
ming, ming,
useful for
ming.
all those elemental attacks the monk has, but it works well for the ranger too. Now, one of the least used ascendancy classes
Chunk
in the game
buffs.
is the Acolyte of Chayula, so we knew we needed to make some changes here. One of the
Okay,
key
so
things
the
we had to do was
unwavering
make the
thing they're
chaos
about to
damage that the
show.
Acolyte can do much more useful.
So, while affected by, unraveling, not unwavering, sorry, your chaos damage randomly, keyword randomly, either also contributes to freeze, ignite, or shock chance. The ignite chance also has magnitude with it, changing which it contributes to every 2 seconds. So this is random every 2 seconds. So I don't know if it's going to be random which one it starts with, and it's going to follow the chain of, like, if you got shock first, then you could get ignite, then freeze. And next time, if you get ignite, then you go shock, then freeze. Or if it can just go freeze, shock, freeze, ignite, freeze, shock. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I just know that it has to alternate from the one that you're already on. But this is a little too random for my liking. I don't know if I'd make a character around this because you need 4 points to go get it, and I'm not sure how good this point is here without launching my game. But like, this is just getting ailments going off of Chaos Dam. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool, but I don't know.
So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing the elemental prowess of the monk in a truly chaotic fashion.
It's cool.
In addition, he can make all of his
Okay, so this one is leech based on chaos damage as well as fizz, so
chaos damage leech.
that's not mana leech, by the way. This is like
and we'll
regular
buff into the
leech.
breach and embrace the darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills. He also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll. If they're killed, they do massive explosions of darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight.
Alright, yeah, if you guys play Monk, you can tell me if that's good or not. Didn't jump off the page for me. This, to me, was like the oh my god moment. Sork looked disgusting. First of all, I'll TLDR it, even though we're going to look at it anyways. Pretty much every Sork skill has like an alternate ailment or alternate elemental effect that you can get on it, but they're not all three. So Firewall, for example, we're going to show it later anyways. Firewall can get lightning infused, so you get additional fire and lightning damage on attack. And then like Spark can be cold infused, but it can also be buffed by going through a firewall, right? Because any projectile that travels through a firewall can get buffed to the firewall. But look at the default projectile speed of this Spark when he uses it. It's like actually disgusting, and he's got a staff, so it's not like he's using a Widow Hail or anything.
Now let's talk about Sorceress skills. One of the things we wanted to improve on the Sork is the ability to use multiple elements together more effectively.
Like the sparks are flying.
Now, this might seem small, but one of the things pushing you towards using a single element is debuffs like Elemental Curses, which lower resistances of a single element. In order to fix that, we're making quite a lot of game-wide changes to these kinds of mechanics to broaden what they apply to. So for example, there's no longer 3 curses.
What's very funny about that clip we just watched is that that guy was lagging like shit. He had like 45 FPS. Okay, if you guys remember conductivity, flammability, and whatever the cold one is that nobody used, now they're all just combined into one curse, and it's just called Elemental Weakness. And all of the exposure applicants, like Frost Bomb, now just do all elements.
Curses for fire, ice, and lightning.
So it's literally just the curses slammed into one.
Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3 at the same time.
Just broken, by the way. Absolutely broken. But again, if you get that support we looked at earlier, I'm not going to click back because I don't want to lose my time in the video, that the hits just invert resistances. This is just completely useless, but that thing is going to be rare. That, what was that support
And
called?
things like Frost
I
Bomb,
don't
which gave
remember,
cold
but it was
exposure,
broken.
now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills.
LA exposure, cool.
We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively.
So they literally removed weapon swap speed. It's instant now, which is disgusting, by the way. So you can have on your fire staff and you're using your fire skill, and then you just swap to your lightning staff, you're using your lightning skills. This is so broken. Or you can have both of your staffs have plus to all skills on them or something. Like, this is absolutely disgusting. Like, You know, all of our builds, if you've been watching for a long time, have used weapon swaps. This is just gross. This is so fucking gross.
Do that, we've removed the weapon switch time, and now happens instantly.
Look at the spark speed
This applies
that these are
game-wide
moving.
too.
And they're infused with like all 3 elements.
Now we didn't just want to stop there. We wanted to add some specific mechanics that work between different elements, and that's where elemental infusions come in.
Here's the infusions things I
Certain
was talking
skills
about.
can now drop elemental infusions. For example, when a frost bomb explodes, it leaves behind a cold infusion on the ground.
You pick up these cold infusions, then the next skill you use that can abuse the cold infusion will be cold infused like your spark.
After picking it up, you can spend it on one of any number of different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold infused projectiles.
Like, these are flying. And all of those insta-froze, by the way, if you didn't peep that.
Different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold infused projectiles. Ice Nova will leave a chilled area on the ground. And we also added a new low-level skill that fires ice shards. Use it with cold infusion though, and the ice shards will explode. Orb of Storms now generates lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it.
And then you can put a firewall down and infuse a firewall.
That's all spells, by the way, not just lightning. Once you have one, you could cast a lightning flame wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles.
Disgusting. By the way, what's it called? Eye of Winter is just shooting like omni fucking Ellies through it. Pretty cool.
Or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each.
So they're specific when they say you can power up Ember Fusillade with lightning because you can't do it with cold. So the firewall can't be infused with cold. This can't be infused with cold. Like, some of them can only be infused with 2 things. Like, the sparks, I don't know if they can be infused with fire. I think the sparks can only be infused with cold as well. But you can send them through a firewall, and that's why it'll look like it's triple infused.
Each fireball hits.
But it says that in the patch notes if you go, like, Control F for Flame Wall. Where is that? So, Flame Wall can now consume a lightning infusion to grant additional lightning, but nowhere does it say a cold infusion on this. So, these are specific what they can do.
Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc. This skill is now a projectile, and by
Okay, Arc is now a projectile, like the skill Arc.
infusing it, you can go full Palpatine. Get fire infusions by blowing up monsters with Living Bomb. Then use them with
Living Bomb, if you don't know what skill that is, it's a quarterstaff
Comet to
skill.
summon
Or not a quarterstaff,
giant
it's a
fire
staff
needle from
skill,
the
sorry.
sky. Or use it with Firestorm, which transforms it from a small area into a much bigger one. Firestorm is unique.
So you can use fire with
can be
fire, you
infused
can
by
use
multiple
fire
different elements
infusions
at
with
the same
fire
time.
skills. Disgusting.
Add an ice infusion to rain down ice at the same time as the
This
fire.
one is so gross. I don't know how good this is going to be, but it
And
looks
add
cool.
lightning to add deadly strikes from the heavens into the mix.
So because you can infuse lightning with lightning, they're going to show Lightning Arcane in a second. And it just looks so OP.
Or use it with all 3 to generate a storm that is truly apocalyptic.
Like, this looks sick, but
Cold Snap is
Who knows how good it'll be.
Snap. Previously, you could use it to shatter ice, but now it works to detonate all of the different elemental ailments and makes them leave behind infusions. And just like how you could
so if you could automate that snap to just get infusion generation, it might be really
previously
good.
use it on Frostbolt,
Like with a cast on crit or something.
you can now also use it on Orb of Storms and Solar Orb to detonate those as well, which means you can create many infusions at once.
Or a cast on shock,
We also
whatever.
have a Spirit Reservation.
Okay, so this is only level 8. I'm assuming that these 5% chances are going to raise as you level this up. If not, this...
skill and a support gem to help generate them too.
Remnant, by the way, is an infusion, if you read up here. People were confused about that. I looked at the values of this, and I was like, okay, if these are stuck at 5%, and the only thing that might scale is just 17% further away, because that number's weird, that just looks like the kind of number that would be able to raise at level 20. And then I read the support gem, and it's just a 20% chance to create an additional remnant. Like, this is gross. But this is in the event that you already create one, you'll create another, so... But, like, this support is so much better looking than this that there's no way that these 5% chances don't roll up.
And causes your on the passive months.
Also, that was... How much spirit was that one?
We also have a
This is 30 spirit siphon
Spirit
elements.
Reservation skill. A couple of examples. The Blackflame
Okay, the Blackflame Covenant. This looks broken. There's definitely going to be a build for this. Fire spells, Spire Fells. Fire spells convert 100% of fire damage to chaos. Chaos damage from fire spells contribute to ignite chance and magnitude. Ignite inflicted with fire spells deals chaos damage instead of fire damage. If you don't know, most of the monsters in the game don't have chaos res, so chaos damage is really good if you can scale it. This just looks sick. If you go Fire Arcan up here, these new notables are all the Arcan notables. We're going to see those later. Just imagine these with this.
Flame Covenant Keystone converts your fire spells to chaos and causes
You can run around with Chaos
Ignite
Fusillades.
chaos damage.
Like, this is gross.
your fire spells and ignites will also turn purple.
Like, this is cool. That's a fireball, a Chaos Fireball.
The Ritual Cadence Keystone causes your invocation skills to trigger more times, but makes them trigger periodically over a longer duration instead of one. Great for those auto bomber builds.
Great for those auto bomber builds,
Now, in
whatever you
addition to
say,
skill
brother.
changes, we've added a lot more
We'll see
options
about
to the
that.
passive tree for each class. Overall, there are more than 100 new notables on the tree, usually around 20 per class.
Shows
along
the
with smaller
Arcans.
clusters as well. Check out the old version, and here's the new version.
So there's a
It's
lot
more
more
dense, and there's more
customizability in
interesting
your
nodes
tree.
than before. Now, we probably can't go through too many of these in the live stream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree. We tried to be a lot more thematic with the new nodes.
I'll
So,
tell
for
you which ones are
example,
good and
the
which ones are
Molten Nodes
bad.
Gift. It lets the benefit of armor break apply to your fire damage.
This one's okay,
how
but
about-
it's pretty far.
Last Stand.
This is horrible. We looked at this. It's 25% increased damage. Surrounded is something you can't control for. The better your character is, the less likely you're surrounded. Low life is hard to build around, but full life is not because you can get CI, and this is really far from CI anyways. So you'd have to be running around at low life all the time. Not good. Heavy stunned recently. That's if you've been heavy stunned recently. And all of this is for a 25% increased attack damage. And no life last uses left. Like, this is shit. This is so conditional that your character is about to die. Like, horrible.
Which gives you lots of stats.
You're never going to be benefiting from two of these at once. Maybe surrounded and low life if you can figure it out. But, like, who the hell wants to be running around at low life? You'd have to get a unique that makes it as if your character was at low life all the time.
There's
Also,
more and
Deepest
more
Tower got removed. Fun fact. That doesn't really have anything to do with you and being low life, but that's like enemies in low life that made me
A
think
lot
of
of
that.
these have themes aligning with ascendancy classes. Like for the Gemling Legionnaire, for example. You have crystallized immunities, which makes you immune to different status ailments,
Who cares?
depending on which
Immune to chill is okay, I guess,
support
but
gem color you have socketed the most.
looks shit.
Another ascendancy class aligned notable is Sanguimatic Rituals. It allows arcane surges to generate life instead of mana, unlocking that support gem to be used with the Blood Mage Ascendancy.
That's cool.
In the Sork area, you'll find these Archon
These
nodes
ones are
that allow you to
disgusting.
convert all of your elemental damage to a specific.
Gain Lightning Arcan after spending 100% of your max mana. Immediately, the first thing I thought is like, if you can stack this, just keep your mana at like 560 and just have a ton of mana on kill, gain mana on kill everywhere, and you just like benefit from this over and over and over, and this just gives you extra lightning damage.
Specific element. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all your skills will be converted to lightning, and you will do extra lightning damage as well.
So you can just already use lightning only skills if you wanted, and all of your infusions would be turned into lightning if you didn't want to do that. And yeah, this just
We
looks
have ones for
gross.
cold and fire too, with different triggers. Here's another
Motherfucker's gonna be putting down a lightning wall.
Elemental Practitioner gives crit bonus.
This is one of the most broken notables I've ever fucking seen, and the spot that it's in is so good. This is Monk Tree Start, if you didn't know. This is like the first avenue from Monk Tree Start. These are those crit nodes that everybody picked up. And this is like, from that node, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 points for this. So it is an investment, like it's a 4-point investment, but 40% increased critical hit chance if you've triggered a skill recently is disgusting. Meta skills gain 30% increased energy if you've dealt a crit recently. Like, this is gross. This is so gross.
As if you've triggered a skill.
Don't remember if recently is 4 or 8 seconds,
while also
but
making
this is
crits generate more
disgusting
energy
either
for
way.
triggers. Or maybe you'd like the great.
This is horrible. 1 life per 4 dexterity, like whether you get 100 life or something
It
in
gives you a
endgame.
reason to stack dexterity to make you tougher,
Like,
giving a
this
bonus
is
to
just
life
mid.
and stun threshold. Or the Cunning Fox.
Okay, so the problem with this one is unless these are quality of skills, these pathway nodes that go to it, these little baby ones, unless these nodes are also quality, like 2%, 2%, 2%, 5%, this is in a really like iffy spot of the tree, because if you can get that support that we looked at that was like relative it was pretty much like exposure. You're just turning resistances into like negative values, like you're inverting resistances. If you can get that, that means you're not going to need to get Elipen anywhere. That means you're not going to have to run an Asus. That means you're not going to pick up Forces of Nature or whatever this one's called. That means you're not going to have to get the other one for like, that means you won't be at this part of the tree for this start, because this is Ranger start, Huntress start, like right here where this node is. Follow it back to the start. So these are like pretty far out of the way. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points from the jewel socket, which is, if you're gonna come down here, that's what you're gonna snag, because all of these over here are shit. Like all of these nodes are shit. Most people stop at the spear skills and these ones if they're gonna run Amazon. So you're gonna have to path. Let's just say you stop at this point to get the spear skills and the accuracy stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points just for like potentially 11% quality with your jewel socket. I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe I'm wrong, but
It straight up gives you 5% quality to all your gems. Now, another major change is attribute requirements.
okay, attribute requirements got a 20 to 25% reduction across the board for weapons, for gear, for skills. So instead of this being 205 strength requirement, it's 157.
Points to spend on
And Giant's
interesting
Blood got
modules rather than
adjusted.
just needing to allocate more strength, dex, and int. Now, there are way more changes.
So that's like, I don't want to keep this video too long. That's like build shit. Crazy. I just want to jump straight into the Abyss. The characters look fucking sick now. Like, they actually look gross. Now we're getting into Abyss. If you don't know how Abyss worked in PoE 1, you'd walk over this little green thing, you'd follow it, you could get a trove at the end. The trove could drop you a belt that you could socket Abyss jewels into. The Abyss jewels had flat stats, and sometimes they outscaled regular jewels, and if you wanted, you didn't have to use the belt. You could just put the jewels in your tree. They kind of changed that. I didn't see any of the rare Abyss belts. And it also looked like the Abysses were just like already open in the gameplay, so you didn't have to like walk over them and activate them, but I could be wrong. All of the clips were cut short. We were looking for that, so it doesn't work like it does 1-to-1 with PoE 1. And then the Abyss crafting feature is veiled from PoE 1. We'll show that. You basically use like I think they were like body parts. It said like rib or like jawbone. You put the rib or the jawbone currency on your item, it puts the Abyss mod on it, which is basically veiled, and then you go unveil it in that Act 2 section. But yeah, it's just a bunch of, it's like Reddit. You're just killing Redditors now. It's pretty cool. They come out of the underground. They come out of the basement.
You first encounter signs of the
You
Abyssal in Clear
fuck them up.
where you discover that during
More
the
monsters
night,
in your map. It's pretty
weaker
good.
members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. The townsfolk require your help to investigate where the
Fucking
monsters are
Mortimer,
coming
bro.
from and put a stop to their attacks.
Look at him, bro. I trust this guy with my soul. But we're just gonna skip.
Angered by you killing their food.
Yeah, so you follow the crack,
Once all those fissures have
then
been
you get to
sealed,
the end of the
pit
crack,
activates,
and there's a pit,
more
and
abyssal
monsters
pour
just
out.
spawn from it right here.
This is where the larger and more dangerous
And you can get
monsters
multiple
reveal
pits.
themselves, as hordes of abyss will spew out from the pit.
Also, this Atlas, this isn't in your Atlas tree yet, but there is a Pinnacle content associated with it. You're going to scale the difficulty of your Abyss with your Waystones and your Precursor tablets. We didn't actually see the Precursor tablets, but I don't see why they wouldn't just add an Abyss Precursor tablet. And yeah, they also changed how the splinter system works. So now instead of needing 300 splinters to do a Breachstone, you can spend 50 splinters to do a tier 1 Breachstone, 100 splinters to do a tier 2 Breachstone, or 75 to do a tier 2, 100 to do a tier 3, blah blah blah, whatever. But there is a Pinnacle content associated with this. They deliberately don't show it in the footage, but you jump into the Abyss and there's like bosses. It says that there were 4 unique bosses. I think one of them is specific to your maps. They're going to show it later. It's this big ass bug that you kill. If you kill a boss next to an Abyss pit, a big ass bug will come out and you'll kill that. So it's kind of like the boss from Cleansed, where it's like specific to your maps.
To take your soul.
But he's gonna finish this and he's gonna get a trove.
If you kill a magic pack, then magic abyssal arise. If you kill a rare, then a rare monster will emerge from the pit, having absorbed some or all of its modifiers for itself. This means the monsters emerging will generally be more difficult and more rewarding, as each modifier gives better rewards. If you are able to kill them all,
This is
the pit
sick,
will
dude. This
seal
is so
shut.
sick.
As each pit is closed, it reveals a potential reward. Abyssal troves will rise up out of the pits, allowing you to get some epic loot.
Okay, so this Nod Rib is the currency item that you use to get the Veiled mod, or the Abyssal mod, whatever they're gonna end up calling it. But his vocabulary that he used was very specific. He says, if you're able to do it all, you will get the Abyssal Trove. That means if you aren't able to do it all, you're not going to get an Abyssal Trove. So it's not like Breach, where you can like do as much as you're comfortable with and then run out and still get a reward at the end. Or Delirium in your maps, where like you just like run out when you're done and you feel like you don't want to die or whatever. Like you actually have to complete this. So keep that in mind.
Areas often contain many pits.
So this one's got 2
with many
pits.
fissures, and the amount goes up as you progress through the game.
He's fighting for his
getting
life in
more
this clip.
intense.
I'm kidding, his clear
Doesn't
wasn't that
stop
bad.
there. When
This guy's
monster
stealing
mods
my
are
swag,
absorbed,
he's taking
they
my
have a
build.
chance
Cringe.
to become infused with the Dark Necromancer,
Kidding.
transforming them into abyssal modifiers. For example, you defeat this monster with the Mana Siphoner modifier. Their soul is eaten by the pit, and a rare monster emerges. The Mana Siphoner modifier has transformed into Soul Siphoner, and is now amplified in danger and reward.
Pretty cool.
Abyssal pits also interact with other monsters and mechanics. If you defeat a rogue exile that's near one, it'll be revived as a Lichborn that has multiple abyssal modifiers.
Pretty cool.
Lichborn exiles even
Also, if you haven't gotten the memo, in PoE 1, when the new league comes out, the abyssal things aren't something that you need to juice with precursor tablets. So, like, they're already applied to every single map. But I still think they might add precursors to help you juice it, because the only way to currently juice these is going to be on your waystones, if that's not the case. But these are like inherent on every single map in your atlas, so you don't have to like go put, just like you had to go put Breach onto your maps with your precursors, you don't have to do that with these. They're
have
just
their own
everywhere.
unique jewel they can drop, if you are lucky enough to encounter and kill them.
So these guys drop unique jewels.
If an abyss spawns near a boss, killing it will summon a gigantic.
So when they say
giga-marvel
there's 4
creature.
unique bosses associated with Abyss, I think this is one of them.
Monsters imprisoned in essences near abyssal pits are affected by the abyss too. They will come with an additional new essence item that can be used to craft your items.
So yeah, everybody that was like asking how often you're going to be able to benefit from these, like abyssal pits are going to be all over your maps.
So, that's your bread and butter of the Abyssal League. Kill surface-dwelling monsters, kill the emerging abyssal, close the fissures,
So you kill the normie, and then you kill the redditor. The redditor comes back with all the normie's power and like rage and hatred in his heart,
overcome pit encounters,
and
reap
you
the
get rewards for it.
There's a lot more to this league, however. As you complete abysses, you can find ancient pieces of bone, preserved from the remains of
These were
fallen
the
Lichborn.
currency items.
These are one of the many rewards for your mission to seal the pits. You can use this on a rare item to imbue it with abyssal magic.
Okay, so you can ignore the quiver part. I was like, why does this say rare weapon or quiver? Does that mean there's going to be one that says rare armor or belt or something? I think it's just saying quiver because a quiver technically isn't a fucking weapon, and that's funny.
Adding a special hidden modifier to your
So this is a veiled mod from PoE 1.
item.
You can
But
go
how do you
choose what you
reveal it?
want this to be.
In Act 2 of the campaign, you'll encounter a new area. This area is overrun by the Abyssal and the Lost Men. After clearing through this area, you'll find the
Okay, so the first thing that I thought was funny, we didn't see the stash next to the waypoint. You're going to have to waypoint teleport to this every time you get a veiled mod and you want to do this, but thank God there's a stash here so you don't have to like carry your currency with you back and forth if you wanted to craft super hard. The stash is in this area.
Well of Souls. A giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling
The
beneath
lurking
you.
creature.
So how do you reveal the mods on your Abyssal infused items? Obviously, just throw them in, right? Yes, that's exactly what you do.
Yes.
Before throwing it in, you are given the option of how you want to transform it, in the form of a choice of 3 different modifiers.
So, this is sick. Obviously, if you're a Abyssal mod, I hate calling it that. If you're Veiled mod, Abyssal mod, whatever, is a suffix, you're only going to get offered suffixes. His happens to be a prefix, so all 3 of these are prefixes.
Once you've
But this is cool,
chosen
because
your
it gives you the
desired
option
mod,
to choose.
throw it in, where it will absorb the power of the souls, and the ominous creature will then retrieve it for you.
That was
These
fucked up.
modifiers
He's just
can
going to
be
make this
run
guy
from the
jump
core
down there
mod
to go
pool,
grab his shit.
all the way through to specialized modifiers that cannot normally appear on items. During the campaign, you can use it as a way to more easily add useful existing mods, but during the endgame, there is a whole set of new and powerful mods you can add to your items.
Some of these are sick.
Like this mod for crossbows,
This is fucking disgusting. Okay? There's one that gives you fucking spirit for
that allows
stabs.
you to place an additional ballista token.
It was like 67 or something, 61.
Or this one,
Yeah, 67 spirit on a staff. For a weapon swap, this is broken. While we're on this topic though, they made it so that you can't use blink on weapon swap anymore. You can only use blink if you can use it on weapon slot 1 and weapon slot 2, which I thought was fucking hilarious. So I guess they didn't like what we were doing with that in
that
0.1.
adds spirit to your stuff.
We were pretty much the only one that was using weapon swap blink, by the way. So that felt targeted.
Or this one, that allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills.
So like these mods are gonna be broken.
And speaking of endgame, you can also use the
Alright, I'm just gonna explain this quickly. I didn't see a single prefix on any of the maps anymore, so I think maps are working similar to PoE 1, where everything on the map is just a detractor, all of it is shit, and it scales the inherent implicit mods, so monster pack size, item rarity. So I don't think you're going to be able to get rarity on your waystone anymore, and the tower system didn't change at all. So they say he uses the phrase a lot of pack size, but as you know, with the instilled emotions, you can get 24% increased pack size with 3 emotions from Delirium. And I didn't see a single map in like this little reveal that had like a lot of pack size and a lot of rarity. But you can get quant on this top line,
system to craft waystones.
in these top lines.
With a preserved vertebrae fused into your waystones, you can get some new modifiers that push difficulty and rewards to new heights.
Also, you can't corrupt maps to have more than 8 modifiers anymore. That was something. Yeah, these are cool.
Here are some examples of those mods.
And they all of these downsides have like a corresponding upside that affects your pack size and item rarity. I wonder if they're gonna adjust the loot table to deal with this, but
Always
we'll
get a
see.
choice of 3,
I don't want to judge this too hard before playing with it.
so you can avoid anything you don't think your character is capable of. With this modifier, the natural inhabitants of the area are all
So this map right here has 36 monster pack size with 14 item quant on the waystone. Like this would be an example of a good one. It's a T15.
spawned near abysses.
But it also has like an
And
abyss
there are
mod
up to
on it,
9
so
additional abyssal pits in the area,
so this one gives you 9 pits in the area. This map is like fucking juiced.
making it just a full-on abyss ruckus. Or this one, which
So this one's got 24 pack size, 7 quant, 43 rarity, and it's only got 6
causes
mods.
the final abyssal pit in the area to always result in a boss encounter, be it either one underground or one that emerges out.
So this one you go inside of the dark
There
domain. If you didn't see that.
Final abyssal
You
pit
showed
in
that
the
again.
area to always result in a boss encounter.
So the
Be
dark
it
domain
either one
is like
underground or one that emerges.
think of it like an expedition
Just out.
cave. You go in there but there's like a boss at the end of it.
There are dozens of these waystone mods.
So pack size is 43, rarity is 28. Pack size here is 28, 15 quant, 28 rarity. So maybe maps are juiced even more than before, but none of these said like 65, you know what I mean? And obviously these are uninstilled,
You can get
so you
from
can
this
instill
craft.
these with emotions too.
That covers the new crafting mechanic. So what's left? Well, we talked about how when closing pits you can get abyssal troves, but sometimes when closing an abyss, you'll reveal an underground cavern that leads to the abyssal depths. After jumping into the depths,
This area
you'll
looks
find an
fucking sick.
abyssal city, swarming with legions of the undead. When underground,
Dude, they
every single
fucking
rare abyssal
snapped,
enemy
bro.
will have
This
an
update is
abyssal
gonna be
modifier.
so good, you guys. I'm so excited. Holy
And at the
shit.
end of the dungeon, you'll even find a rare with a more powerful Lichborn modifier. Once you're able to defeat this powerful rare, you can also find some nice
Greater Orb of Augmentation.
rewards. Aside from the entire area being valuable due to the abyssal modifiers on the monsters, it has its own specific drops too.
So I'm just gonna. They're gonna talk about this later. The way the Greater Orb of Augmentation works is it guarantees that the tier is good. So like a perfect Orb of Augmentation would make it so that your item has like a tier 1 or tier 2 mod. So you can essentially get to a point where you filter out like shitty Orbs of Augmentation.
One
And you just only pick up graders
example is a
because you have like 3,000 of these.
set of lineage supports that can rarely be found in these depths, like Kurgle's Leash.
Here's another lineage support. Gain Unholy Might for 5 seconds on commanding minions from supported skills. Minions from supported skills gain Unholy Might for 5 seconds when commanded. Like,
This support empowers
give
both
it to you and your character.
minions when you
Or your,
command them,
you and your
granting
minions.
unholy might to you both. Another depth-specific outcome is a set of omen-like items that amplify your abyssal crafting. Additionally, we're adding
Use
some
your
new
reroll.
socketables that can drop from the abyssal
This was like so conditional. Critical hit chance is lucky against parried enemies for gloves. What the fuck is that?
depths. Take
Accuracy rating per 1 item evasion on helmet. For Zahn, that could be
ornament
good, but
gaze, which can be socketed into your armor. These are a bit special in
There's
that
gonna
you
be
can
multiple
only
of
have
these,
one equipped
obviously.
at a time, but give some pretty powerful effects.
they're gonna show the belt
Think
now.
of them
So you see how this says gloves, body armors, helmets, and it's specific to only be able to be put in those respective armor sockets or whatever. There's a belt that lets you imitate like a helmet or imitate a chest
as
piece.
almost a
They're gonna show
unique
that.
socketable for your equipment. In the endgame, where you can still find depths,
So you'll have
you
like
also
2
start
sockets
to
in your
find a
belt, and
different type
they
of
count as like
underground chamber.
helmet
In
slots.
these areas, you'll find an ancient spire.
So this
a
is one of the
device
4
being
bosses.
used by commanders of the abyssal factions to plunge Rayclast into a lightless void. Your goal is simple: kill this commander and destroy the spire. There are 4 bosses
Here's
in
that
the
belt.
Abyssal League, and there are some pretty cool uniques available from them.
So this is one of the uniques from the bosses, right? This item gains bonuses from socket items as though it was a helmet, and it's got an increased effect of the socketed items. So this is sick. If you got one that was for like weapons or something, this would be really nice.
An example is this belt, Darkness Enthroned.
Could just
It
get
has
crit
2
chance in
sockets.
this.
But hold on,
Slap
socketables
some
don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod
soul
that
cores in
allows
there.
it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
Like if you can get 100% increase of effect of socketed items, and it says socketed items as though it was a weapon, you could put the additional arrow, or it might have to specifically say like bow. You could put the additional arrow. What's the new greater? What are those called? Greater runes. And you could get like double arrows from one of those. Or if this was the boots one, this item gains bonuses from socket items as though it was boots. You could put the movement speed one in there. Like, these are gonna be fucking gross. But not like, probably not the one that says helmet. But if there's one of these for every armor type, or every like weapon type, or just weapons in general, this is fucking disgusting.
This one, for example, counts as a helmet. I kind of want one that counts as a body armor. I wonder how rare that one is.
Yeah, like, fuck the body armor one. Get a weapon one. Okay, so this is a
You can
seed,
also find
a random seed gen fucking heroic tragedy.
This unique
So buying these is going to be
Eat
impossible.
jewel.
Sorry for spamming
Undying
spacebar, by the
hate.
way.
this jewel transforms part of your passive skill tree into an abyssal version.
So these are cool. You can actually see what these mods are on POB, but this is pretty much just the heroic tragedy. But you don't know what you're buying without a calculator, and the calculator doesn't exist yet.
And has multiple depths. The deeper it goes, the more of your passive tree is affected, allowing you to fulfill your fantasy of becoming part Abyssal Lich.
So you just gotta
Well,
go
the
snag
last
those
thing that Abyssal
tributes.
commanders can drop is a
So this is the Pinnacle encounter. They don't show it.
finger of the Lich. But what use do you have with a random undead finger? Well, the next time you return to the Well of Souls, with the finger in your inventory, your character will almost feel compelled
To jump off the side. I said that in the reveal, and they literally make you kill yourself.
to do what, though, you might ask? To jump in. The items you threw in came back more powerful, right?
That's
So,
funny.
What's the worst that could happen? Well, you will just have to find that one out for yourself.
Obviously, there's a fucking boss down there.
Along with the introduction of Act 4 and the interlude, we will be adding 25 new endgame maps.
Okay, so
These
these
maps will
are
contain all the new
these are all
monsters and
sick.
bosses we're adding, improving variety and giving you opportunities to experience
These are
the new
sick.
boss fights many times.
a lot of them have really good lighting,
Let's take a look
which
at
I
some
thought was cool
examples.
because a lot of them are from Act 4.
Rock Pools is a map where you
And Act
explore
4 is
a
like an
shallow
island map,
rocky coastline,
so it's not all
surrounded
just
by
doom and
coral
gloom all the time.
filled with sirens.
So
At
a
the
bunch
end
of
is
new
a giant-
maps, a bunch of new bosses. Don't really care particularly about tile sets and shit. That's not that important to me, but
And
this is obviously
Goblin King
cool.
boss.
Just keep the game a
Ready
little
to
more
eat
fresh.
sulfite
But what's
and
really
squish
cool
you
is the
like a
new
bug.
anomaly maps they add. I think I'm gonna skip ahead to those.
Like boss, added are a bit more.
So it's just showing off some of the
until you do your
bosses.
Pinnacle boss.
Show the
In the
anomalies.
desert-
There we go. So this one's like a sandstorm. There's like a whirlpool one. You have to do these to get your boss Atlas points now. You have to go kill like a 79 boss in an anomaly map. So these are cool.
Biome, you can encounter a wild sandstorm. 3 maps around the sandstorm contain a device you must activate. Upon doing this, the sandstorm's magic is disrupted, revealing the map inside and allowing you to access it and find the cause. This presents itself in the form of a boss. Similar
Special
to the
boss is
existing
kind of like a citadel.
bosses.
Yep.
This boss is a Faradin Swordmaster, who has been blessed with the power of a time gem, allowing him to take
better
his
beat his
swordsmanship to
ass.
the next level by replicating himself, maneuvering rapidly, and severing the fabric of time itself with his powerful slashes.
Pretty cool.
In the water biome, you'll encounter a
whirlpool
giant
one.
maelstrom. where
Oh,
one of
my
the
bad.
maps
It's a
surrounding the
maelstrom,
water
actually.
biome connects
That's
to
actually
it,
a
but
maelstrom.
the connection is obscured.
But these are sick.
You must run the maps nearby, hoping to find a beacon.
So
which
you're
will
gonna kill
remove
your boss, and just make sure you run to the edge of your boss arena where this beacon is,
the
because you're gonna be
maelstrom
mad as shit when you don't
and
run
reveal
all the way up
connection
to it and
to
click
that
on it.
map. Another example
Blood
is this
one.
Vaal vault in the mountain biome. But how do we get inside? Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key,
Okay,
which you can.
so let's go back.
Another example
These are not
is
like
this
scarabs
Vaal
from
vault in the
PoE1.
mountain biome.
This just like enables you to
But
use
how do we
it.
get inside?
Try to pause
running
on it
the adjacent
perfectly.
maps to it-
There you go. So this just allows you to go use it.
Will yield a key, which you can then use to gain access to this vault.
What's that map have on it?
The Vaal vault in the
Sorry
mountain
for running
biome.
this back over and over and
But
over.
how do we get inside? Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key,
Boom.
which you can then use to gain access to
Motherfucker.
this vault.
Okay, 7% pack size, 21 quant, 28 rarity. So I think character rarity is going to be more important than ever because these rarity rolls are not like that fucking crazy. Because you can't, remember, you can't get it as a prefix on your map. They took prefixes away from maps. So you're probably going to want rarity on your character more than ever because you can't just get into your map and this shit says fucking 240% with your Atlas buffs. Also, if you didn't notice, this guy's on the monk. He doesn't have weapons. He's got the fucking beat the dog shit out of you gloves.
Or, you could just trade for one, I guess. Use the key to dispel the powerful force field surrounding it, leading to the Vaal Elite and their rewards inside. These all contain Uber versions of the Act 4 boss, and the bosses at the end of each part of the interlude,
Too cool.
and each have their own exclusive drop pool of new Lineage supports, which, as Jonathan spoke about earlier, are powerful support gems that modify your skills in pretty crazy ways. As an example of a
Attack critical hit chance with supported skills. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I'm not even gonna try, dude. Supported skills become usable after you've moved 20 meters. Supported skills become usable again after use. Bifurcates. Bifurcates.
Bifurcate.
Bifurcate. Fuck you, dude.
Lineage support, which can come from the Faradin Swordmaster mentioned earlier, we have Garukan's Resolve, which causes your critical strikes to fork.
Okay, why don't they just say
It
fork?
requires some mobility on your part to
Scumbag. So this pretty much just gives you a little tango
properly
tongue.
enable. From the boss sealed in the Val Vault, we have Paquate's Pact, which supports your war cries, causing them to inflict massive amounts of corrupted blood.
Corrupted
at the
blood is
cost of
sick.
your own life. Additionally, some maps can now spawn summoning circles, a room resembling an Ezomite henge. Activating this henge will spawn
Look at how
bosses.
crazy the chat was
It's as
going with
simple as
delete
that.
towers.
We'll also be making changes to how affixes and waystones work. As the current prefixes equals good, suffixes equals bad, iteration isn't quite hitting the mark. We tried something new here in Path of Exile 2, but after seeing the feedback we decided we
PoE
actually
1.
liked what we had in Path of Exile 1 more. Like Path of Exile 1, each affix will now be both difficult and rewarding. Waystone mods now grant an increase to the number of waystones dropped, and an additional specific upside attached to it. This means as you roll your map, they will continue to get more difficult and more rewarding.
So these were working as multiples of each other. Like that gave 7 rarity, 7 pack size, 7 pack size, 7 pack size. Those would be like max roll precursor tablet rolls.
And allow you to customize the difficulty and rewards of your maps better.
That one just straight gave 14.
For example, the Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage.
That's just
also
14 from one mod. 14 item rarity from one mod.
increases the rarity of items
That's
dropped
pretty
as its
good, to be
upside.
honest.
Whereas the of Venom
I don't think you're
suffix
gonna be able to get like
modifier,
90
which
though.
causes enemies to poison on hit.
But yeah, we can just get past this. It's pretty cool.
So, that's your Atlas, maps,
It should
and
play good.
Waystones. But what about Breach, Ritual, Pinnacle content, and others of the sort? We're
This is
making some
Splinter
changes
change.
around this too. The first change is that you'll now be able to invest 2 points into your specific League Atlas trees before having to run the Pinnacle content. There will be a specific objective for each type of content which grants you those points.
So you get your first point.
For example, in the case of Delirium,
And
it's
the
simple.
+1 increase the difficulty Atlas points no longer are affected by like the encounter you use, because now instead of needing the entire simulacrum, the entire breachstone, you use just splinters to do it. So those just affect the difficulty of your maps. So all of those little nodes in your Atlas, Atlas tree PoE2, ignore my typo. All of these little nodes, open image in new tab, come on. These little shit nodes right here, this website's making noise, what the fuck? These little shit nodes don't increase the difficulty because you choose the difficulty with the splinters. So the nodes before the notables aren't like +1 difficulty to Audience of the Kings. Like, that's not how they work anymore. It just makes it more difficult in your map.
You just need to find and kill one of the bosses.
And they
in
give
a
you the
map,
first 2 points.
Omniphobia or Kosis.
You get your first knowledge book in your maps.
The rest of the points for
So 10% increased stack size of simulacrum splinters. That's pretty cool.
each content come from the Pinnacle content. But we're making some changes to accessibility here too. Currently, access to most Pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest and most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where at lower difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run it at maximum difficulty.
Right.
To address this, each content will now drop splinters, which will not form into singular items. Instead of using the singular combined item in the realm gate, you can now just bring your splinters. Upon inserting the splinters into the realm gate, an interface will appear,
So you pick tier 1, tier 2.
allowing you
Blah,
to
blah, blah.
pick your difficulty, and you'll notice each difficulty has a different entry cost. This means if you want to run easier difficulties, it costs
So that only said 1, 2, 3 because the first points are given to you for free.
less, which also allows you to run this content much sooner.
If I'm
into
not
the
mistaken, unless that UI unlocks a 4th one.
game. Because these encounters now just require splinters, their corresponding Atlas tree no longer affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely
So
affect
these
the
all
content
stay
and maps on the Atlas.
stack size.
The
they all
Arbiter
say
of
stack
Ash
size.
works a bit differently.
Okay, Uber Arbiter.
Instead of
That's what
requiring
this is.
splinters, he still needs crisis
Listen to this
fragments.
noise when they
We
socket
now
this.
have only
This
2
nasty
difficulties
shit.
of the Arbiter. The first, requiring the existing fragments obtained from citadels. The second, Uber Arbiter, requires Calamity fragments. These come from citadel bosses also,
That
but
wet
only
shit.
once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss atlas tree, ensuring those
They
citadels
changed how
stay at
you
their
get the
highest
maximum
difficulty
number of
level.
points in your boss atlas tree.
Since we're talking about Pinnacle content, we also felt that the leveling curve in the late game was a bit too steep. We've smoothed this out a bit so that it's easier to get to the mid-90s. We've also added some new in-game unique items.
Okay, so
Let's
easier to get to
take a look at a
mid-90s. That
couple.
means it's also easier to get to 100.
Thunderfist is a pair of gloves that grants crackling palm.
1
A
to
skill which
84
empowers
lightning
your
roll on
unarmed
this.
attacks,
You obviously
granting
won't be
the
using a
ability
weapon
to
when you're
call down
unarmed.
the storms themselves on enemies you hit. Put simply, literally every
Flickers,
monster
right?
you hit with your unarmed skills will be struck by powerful lightning. Pair this with the aforementioned hollow palm technique to embrace your true unarmed prowess in
Pretty cool.
combat. Another unique we're adding is Henekura's Sight.
This shit was
Equip
ass in
this
Fury
amulet
1.
to be granted the power of the Mother of Death herself.
But it's a cool item.
This is reflected by granting you a skill called Foresight. While you have Foresight, your dodge roll no longer avoids hits. But instead, being hit while dodge rolling restores you to full life and makes you unable to die for a brief period of time.
Kind of funny.
You'll notice when this does occur, a copy of your character appears and takes the full damage. This is you seeing that future, as if you hadn't been wearing the amulet. Ultimately, your endgame experience should be more streamlined. With new content to find, you'll be able to invest in your atlas trees sooner, engage with Pinnacle content faster,
I mean,
have less FOMO running said Pinnacle
The
content,
rest is just talking about
reach higher
MTX
level-
and shit, but that's pretty much the update. And holy fuck, expectations were exceeded. The low-hanging, like, low vibrational, duh, new characters, duh, new weapons, like, honestly, I don't even care. This shit looks so fucking sick. Obviously, it would have been nice to get new weapons for sure, because that would enable new builds, but new builds just became impossible because all of the skills that nobody uses because they're not meta are just better now. They talk about how they didn't make Druid in time. They talked about how the tower system is going to get changed. You can probably expect a tower change in 3.1, but I don't know. I think it's going to be sick. I think the game is going to be fun enough that people will deal with it for a little bit longer, but they did say that the tower change is inevitable, and even if they removed all of the juicing part from the tower and let you juice in alternative ways, they said that they were going to still keep the tower as like a scouting thing so that you can see in front of you for like exploration of the Atlas purposes. But yeah, the tower thing I'm the most bummed about, but outside of that, like, W fucking patch, I think it's going to be super sick. I think people are going to blast and have fun again. If you want to maximize the amount of fun that you have, ignore the burgers, ignore the Reddit kids that have no like loyalty to ARPGs that have fucking 11 hours played in the game anyways. People are going to bitch and moan and cry about the tower's lack of characters and lack of new ascendancies, but honestly, I think the patch is really good. I think it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait to get back into making guides. This video is this is the longest video we've ever made. It's gone on for a really long time, but yeah, I just wanted to hold your hand through the patch again. If you were in the stream while this was live, thanks for pulling up. You guys were great. The support was so awesome. You guys are fucking so badass. Yeah, dude, we're so back. We're so fucking back. And yeah, we're gonna be streaming every day up until the patch, every day from the patch on. And I'm super excited. Not sure what character I'm gonna play yet. Sork is jumping off the page for me. The monk looks pretty cool, but I don't know if I'd league start with that. Shit, even the Deadeye or a potential ranger, not necessarily Deadeye, looks pretty cool. But yeah. If you want to see specific skill changes, I'll keep the patch notes in the description, the buffs and nerfs to all the skills. Going over this this is like a video in itself. It's all just theoretical bullshit until we get POB updates anyways. Like, pretty cool. If you wanted to run a safe build, the Twister build is not negatively affected whatsoever, and Whirling Slash is actually better as a movement skill now, which is pretty funny. But yeah, safe league start builds, I can already say Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rod, Deadeye is going to be safe. The Twister build is going to be safe. Gas Arrow is probably going to be safe. those are like the 3 that I picked up that are just like, this is probably just going to be good. But yeah, very excited. I'll wrap the video up now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Pull up to the Twitch stream, 787 Prado over on Twitch. We're going to be talking about the game up until the release. The interview didn't have anything really spicy in it. We listened to like 60% of it before we went back and rewatched the stuff. But dude, yeah, Abyss is going to be sick, boys. It's going to be sick. Let's fucking go. Drop a comment, a hot dog in the comments if you made it this far. But yeah, also let me know what character you're thinking about running, what jumped off the page, what you thought was cool. All of them look sick, dude. The Ranger looks sick, the Warrior looks sick, the Monk looks sick, the Sorc looks sick. Merc didn't get a lot of love, but I feel like those skills are going to play out really well too. But yeah, let's go, boys. Later, peace, later.